not named Trump. President Vladimir Putin of Russia is using Joe Biden's treatment of his political opponents to condemn America. Soviet and Russian dictators have been lying about America for Donald Trump's entire lifetime. Donald Trump is the first president and now former president of the United States who has ever agreed with Russia's attacks on the United States. Yesterday, Vladimir Putin said the prosecution of Trump shows the rottenness of the American political system, which cannot pretend to teach others democracy. Joining us now is Timothy Snyder, professor of history at Yale University, who has recently returned from a visit to Ukraine. He is the author of The Road to Unfreedom, Russia, Europe, America. And Professor Snyder, during my entire lifetime, Soviet and Russian dictators have been looking for the example they could use in American life to say to the world and to Russians, look how bad it is there in the United States. And now Vladimir Putin is using the prosecution of Donald Trump as the example he wants to show to fellow Russians who have a pretty good idea of where Alexei Navalny is right now in Russia.
I think you hit on the crucial point. Everyone knows that Russia is a system where political opponents are put in prison. Navalny has been sentenced to 30 years. Vladimir Kara-Murza has been sentenced to 25 years for nothing other than saying that the war in Ukraine was a bad idea and a crime. In Russia, if you hold up a blank piece of paper in the street, you can be sent to prison because that blank piece of paper might mean something. So what Putin is trying to do fundamentally is to say, everybody's as bad as us. The rule of law is a joke everywhere. Russia's no better. America's no better than Russia. That's his fundamental line. He just wants everyone to think that there's no freedom, there's no democracy, there's nothing of value anywhere. So it's not like the Soviet Union where they claimed they had something which was better than our system. Putin's claim is, yeah, our system is rotten, but everyone's system is rotten. And Trump certainly helps him out with that.
And there were, at certain points in Soviet history, true believers in communist doctrine that the United States would kind of collapse on itself, that it just wouldn't be able to continue. You don't get the sense of anything approaching true believerism in Russia now.
No, it's really the opposite. I mean, their whole idea is nothing is true. There's nothing really to believe in except for power and force and will and emotion. So insofar as that's a politics at all, it's a kind of fascist politics. So a figure like Trump, who also doesn't stand for anything and who also, basically lies all the time, is very convenient for them. I would say, though, that although I don't think they believe America is going to collapse, they really would like for Trump to be president of the United States. They do believe, if you watch their talk shows, that Trump would seriously weaken the U.S., and they do believe that Trump would allow them to win their genocidal war in Ukraine.
And so how does Ukraine take it when they see this exchange, in effect, between Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump about the Trump prosecution?
The Ukrainians are, in a war for survival. And, from their point of view, things are just much more real than they are for somebody like Trump or somebody like Putin. They need the weapons and the support that they can get. And, they are. I was just listening to a group of soldiers talk, and one of them had just come from the front, literally just come from the front. And the first thing he said was, I want to thank our Western allies and our American allies for their support. I think for their point of view, it's quite fundamental. They need us to help them. They're not going to get in any trouble by, passing too detailed judgments on things that our leaders say.
Professor Snyder, I'm looking at the clock. We have to squeeze in